You are tuned into Backstage Nonsense. This podcast is brought to you by Sunehri Yade. Check out our upcoming show, A Cassette in My Walkman, on 6th May, 6:30 p.m. at Dorothy Winston Center.
Welcome back to Backstage Nonsense. We've got Swapnil Gomes today joining us. Welcome, Swapnil, to the show.
Thanks
How
for
are you
having me.
today?
Yeah. Good. It's a lovely day.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Very cool setup.
Thank you, Swaps.
So, Swapnil, you're a drummer.
Yep.
You've played for bands that I've even heard of, like big names, big brands. I'm not into Western music as such, but why don't you tell us something about the work that you've done in the recent past?
In the recent past, lots of drumming for different artists that are developing or artists that are like very, very established. So in regards to my work, I was widely considered over the last 15 years as a session musician. So just playing for international and local artists that required drums or required recording or required anything to do with percussion. And then that has been very kind to me. I've been able to build a career off that. And at the moment, I play with an artist called Chai, which is she's an Iranian rapper. And she's huge. She's on Netflix. She's on Marvel's. One of her tracks is on Marvel's Miss Marvel that just came out.
Wow.
So her track is actually in the show and the trailer music.
Oh, nice.
So that's really cool. And my main project was this project called Yokozuna, which was my kind of step into being more creative and writing music and things like that. So that was a big 7-year chunk of my life, and we've just taken a massive hiatus over COVID, and now we're back on this year. So just doing easing back into things and writing music again. But being a session musician has been really kind to me. I've been able to do some really cool things.
That's awesome.
Meet lots of people.
How did how did you come to this thing that, I want to be a drummer or I want to be a percussionist? What does it run in your family?
Yeah.
Is there music in the family? How did you come to that?
100% family.
Yeah.
So my dad's a singer.
Oh, wow.
And he does mainly Bengali music, but he does Hindi music as well.
Oh, okay.
And he was really popular in Bangladesh, but I came here when I was 4 years old. So this is back in 94. And as soon as I came here, my dad was already doing shows for the community. And he went from doing Bengali community shows to slowly kind of doing more sort of the Indian community as well.
Yeah.
And my first ever show was when I was 12 with a guy named Dharmesh Parikh.
Oh, see, everybody knows Dharmesh Parikh, yeah.
And the tabla player who's very close to me is Peter Ravella.
Yes. Yeah.
And it was my dad, and it was a Bengali guitarist, and myself, and so it was very family influenced, playing with my dad, and then from there it kind of branched off to more sort of different artists and different. I was doing Bollywood shows from about the age of 12 to about 13.
Yeah.
And then on and off over the years. So I'm 34 now, so on and off over the years means quite a few little sprinkles here and there. But I kind of wanted to do much more than that. So I just ended up doing a lot of it.
You said your father was a singer, and then you got into drums. So how was that? How did you decide drums?
I don't know.
Good question.
Yeah, I actually don't know, because my dad started off playing tabla.
Okay.
But then he said that it's very funny. He said that he didn't feel like the audience ever clapped for the tabla player. They clapped for the singer. Yeah, so
that's interesting.
then he and that was interesting. I thought that was funny. And then he was like, they never clapped for the tabla player ever.
Wow.
Now they do. I think back in the
Now
day.
they do. Yeah. Now they do. Yeah.
So then he started training as a singer. And he plays harmonium and does ghazals and stuff. And I actually don't know. I think it was just naturally something to do with music, but drums just kind of happened.
That's a really good segue into what I was kind of thinking about. Is often when a vocalist performs really well, it goes, the vocalist has done an amazing job. But if the vocalist goes wrong, it's like, oh, the band did a bad job.
Yeah, the band takes
You know,
the
it's
blame,
a band.
right?
The band takes the blame for it. And I've performed with you once before, like many moons ago. And Hindi, I don't think you understand Hindi. Is that correct?
I don't understand it. Maybe like a couple of words
Here and there, because you're pretty much
Yeah, everyone
brought
knows the
up
curse
here,
words
right.
in Hindi, right?
Yeah, I'm fluent in Bengali,
yeah.
but Hindi, like everyone says it's similar to Bengali, but I don't know why.
Yeah, and you played so well at that Bollywood concert. I mean, what went into your head at that time? How did you prepare for it? And you were so young back then. I think you were in your teens, right? Back then.
I would have been 19, yeah.
Yeah, and he did a fantastic job, and he made us. You know, the backbone of every show is the musicians.
Yeah, absolutely.
And in fact, the percussionists are the ones who hold the show or hold a song because they are responsible for timing
right.
for every single song. Isn't that right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
for someone like Swaps who doesn't understand Hindi, who's never listened to Bollywood music, we want to know how you prepared for that concert or any Bollywood concert.
Yeah, I think musically, it was always part of what I was surrounded by, because in Bangladesh we would have Bollywood movies playing.
Yes.
But when I say that, I came here when I was 4 years old, so I do have memories of when I was born to when I left.
Yeah.
And my sister used to watch heaps of Bollywood movies. So I was exposed to it, but I didn't kind of, like, my whole family understands Hindi.
Okay.
Except for me.
Okay.
But I wasn't, it was, I think musically, I think you just, the rhythms, I think, is something that you just can't take away if you're exposed to it at an early age.
Yes. Yes.
Because when I used to play with Peter or Basant, who is another person,
Yes.
my second ever show
Yes.
was with Basant, and
Yeah.
he had just moved to New Zealand
Wow.
that week. So this is a long time ago. And I just remember that the rhythms were just, I would just follow along because I kind of knew it was intrinsic. So you just kind of feel what you felt when you were a kid. So it just comes as second nature. And then structures and things like that, I think it was being around my dad.
Nice.
Just learning from
Yeah.
watching him sing and play, even though I didn't understand the words. But
Yeah.
rhythmically and musically, that never changes, because
Yeah.
there's no actual kind of words being played on
Yes.
these. There's chords
Yeah.
and notes
Yeah.
that never change. It's, A to G. It's always going to be A to G.
Yeah.
It just
Yeah.
depends on how you organize that.
Yeah.
But I think so for me it was just relying on my my inner self, to my inner child.
Yeah.
Going back to that, but also being really receptive of it as well. So just listening to what I like to say was like my elders, like all those people that I was playing with at the time were my elders, because I was only 19 years old. But before that, I started when I was 12. So these people have always been my elders, and that's why I have so much respect for these individuals that helped me kind of get into music. And just taking their lead on things.
Yes.
And just following along meticulously, like an understudy, just watching and learning. And but that show was a long time ago. But
Long time ago.
and now it just kind of comes second nature. But also I feel that Bollywood music is changing quite a lot.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
And I haven't played a Bollywood show in a long time, so who knows if I can still keep up.
I'm sure you can.
There's
I'm sure you
just
can.
a very embarrassing thing that I'm going to say, but I'm just going to say it anyway. My memory of when I got introduced to this concept of drummers and drumming and stuff was when Rock On, there's this Bollywood movie, Rock On, that got released. And in that, it was a set about a band. So there was like a guitarist, lead guitarist, there was a drummer, there was a keyboard.
Yeah, keys.
Keys. And in that, the drummer was given limelight. And then, we could see that, that. So,
How?
yeah, like,
How?
literally.
I still do that.
So, when you're growing up, this is my question coming to you. Like, when you're growing up, did you imagine yourself you want to get into drumming because it's very cool and stage like that, or?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was mainly just seeing myself on stage with my dad.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was probably the big one. But how to get there was the journey. Like,
Right.
So how to get there was I can play,
Yeah.
but when and where is this going to happen? And I remember my dad got me to. He actually suggested, "Is it okay if my son plays? He can hold down a beat."
Okay.
And then I played, and then from there, Dharmesh actually asked me to join his band and play with him a lot.
Ah, right.
So I think it was that kind of
Yeah.
envisioning yourself on stage.
Yeah.
That
Right.
I think that was it for me. It wasn't necessarily like the playing aspect of it.
Yeah.
It was just envisioning that I'm gonna do that, what my dad does. That's what I want to do. And that's
So how do you handle attention now? Like, because now drummers get attention. Yeah, it's like the coolest.
Yes, it's like the coolest thing out there. Right?
Yeah, it's like it's so
In a
cool. Like
band?
if you're a drummer, like
Yeah.
because you decide that mic drop moment, like
Yes,
you know?
and I also have noticed lately, this could be my ignorance as well. So please excuse my ignorance. Is the drummer is usually in the center of the band setup, and everyone seems to just be like, "Oh, look, drummer."
I would
So you're like the center of attention. How do you? Yeah, to Ruspe's question, how do you manage
Yeah.
that?
I would slightly disagree with that. I don't think people pay much attention to me.
No, I don't think that's
But,
true.
Okay,
but
you
that's
just
only
don't want to see the
that's
stories,
only
yeah?
because I play with very talented musicians who take the limelight from me. So that's always a fun thing because I play my band Yokozuna and then Chai. We're very much energetic crowd,
Yeah.
energetic performance,
Yeah.
and people are just fascinated by what's happening. And sometimes on the off case they'll look at me.
Yeah.
But I used to be flashy. I used to be like the whole sick tricks, and I used to be all that. But now I just like playing in the background.
Yeah.
I love it. But I don't know. I don't know how to answer that attention question. Like,
Are you shy because we asked you?
no, I mean attention is attention. I mean if you're on stage, you're going to get attention, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've always kind of just treated it as like you can do what I can do.
Oh yes.
You can easily do what I can do, or anyone that's on stage. You just need to dedicate, passion, and sacrifice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like three main
Sacrifice.
things,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you've answered our next question actually.
Yeah.
What do you need to be where you are? Dedication,
Yeah.
passion,
Yep.
and
Yep.
sacrifice.
And I think just a level of knowing what you want to do,
Yeah.
and knowing how to say no to things as well.
Okay.
Yes.
Because
Can you explain further on that, please?
oh yeah.
Yeah.
So when I was starting out, I used to say, it doesn't matter what I do, I just want to play drums. right?
Wow.
But eventually I kind of knew, like, so I was a session drummer from, I would say, when I was 12 till I was about 21. And like professional level shows, I was getting paid when I was 12, right? So like that was for a kid being amongst all that in that scene, and not just the Indian community scene, but I was doing shows with like Western bands and like pubs and bars, and I'd have to get one of the band members to pretend to be my guardian, that kind of thing. But all the guardians were always older than me. I was so like, but when it came to about 21, I kind of got sick of playing for people, and I wanted to make my own music, and I wanted to create a band where we were able to have a camaraderie and basically just make music, put out albums, and see what happens.
Yeah.
And we were very, very blessed to have like a really cool run. We were doing festivals. We did 3 albums that did really well. And we were able to do something really cool that I knew that if I didn't break away from it, I wouldn't have been able to do. So it was about saying no to things.
Certain
and,
things, certain concerts. Yeah.
and being able to know what you want to do creatively. I think everyone kind of gets stuck in one mode of doing things,
Yes.
but there's actually several modes of
Yeah.
being happy and creative and things
It's
like
about
Yeah.
getting out or out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Mainly.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
not just settling with what is coming, but
Yeah.
going and finding those things that you actually want.
Yeah.
Speaking of, you earlier just touched on when we talked about attention, you touched on the fact that you play with even more talented musicians. And I've heard a flying birdie say that you play for some massive bands out there. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Who have you played for?
Okay, hang on.
He's counting.
I'd say, so I've played with Slash, who's the
Yep.
guitarist for Guns N' Roses. Oh my lord, you put me on the spot. 15 years. So I have to backtrack. The Veronicas, which
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
like a twin pop duo. I did Ed Sheeran's first recordings.
Whoa.
So I used to live in
Whoa.
Germany.
Whoa.
This is before he was big.
Yeah.
And then I've played with Vernon Reid from Living Colour. I did DJ Disc, who was the DJ for a famous jazz musician called Herbie Hancock.
Yes. Yes. Oh,
yeah.
wow.
And then if you want to go towards the Indian community, I play with Rakesh Chaurasia, Vishwa Mohan Bhatt. That is all I can think of right now.
I am lost for words.
But that, like I said, I've been very blessed to
Yeah.
be able to play for all these different artists and have like a really fulfilling kind of journey. Yeah.
Wow.
I just want to ask you this, just to wrap up things. You've started working from when you were 12, and you've gone through your share of limelight. You're still going through it. How do you still manage to be so grounded?
Good question.
Yeah, because someone who's working with such big names, and at the end of it, you're not taking the credit. You're saying, "Oh, I've just been, fortunate. I've just been lucky." So how do you keep that?
Just to kind of, touch on that is Swapnil and I lost touch for a very long time, over a decade. And when we talked about doing this podcast, and I said, let's talk to Swapnil about this. Because he was always at the back of my mind. He's an amazing artist. I sent him a message on Facebook saying, "Hey, how's it going? I saw you the other day and I've been meaning to get in touch with you." And instantly he had replied to me within 20 minutes as though, just catching up from where we had left. And that speaks so much about your humility, your humbleness.
Thank you.
And how important that is, to an artist.
Yes.
How do you, keep your head leveled?
I think I've seen too many people that are not like that.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be like that. I've seen relationships break down between musicians and artists and singers because of these reasons. I just don't want to be around it. But one thing I always kind of come back to is that I think everyone has the opportunity, has the ability to do anything that they put their mind to. I know it sounds super cliche, but when you put someone on a pedestal and you say that you can never get there, you're already embedding in your head that you can't get there.
Yes.
And you're already going to give yourselves obstacles, made up obstacles that you can't get there. So, for example, like when I saw Ed Sheeran pop off after I'd done his very first recordings, I didn't feel anything. I was just like, go him, awesome. And then when I play for an artist that's huge or, quote unquote huge, we're all just people at the end of the day. But I just think about it like it's just work, put your best foot forward, and it's just like going to work and making everyone feel good that's there, regardless of where you are status wise and things like that. And one thing I will always consider is how much the community's helped me grow. So people like Basanji and Peter Ravella and Dharmesh as well. These guys actually saw me when I was a kid, and so when Basant asked me for something, I'll always reply and try to make it work,
Yeah, yeah.
regardless of any of that stuff.
Wow.
So I think it's respect, culture, and just we're just all human. You got to be good to each other, you know.
Yes, I
Like-
agree.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's pretty cool. So, any upcoming projects that you'd like to talk about? That if someone wants to see you right now, they're watching you live talk. But if they want to see you perform,
I literally just played a show just before coming here.
Yes, you did.
But I'm actually, funnily enough, I'm actually going to Bangladesh on Wednesday for a little bit, and I might do a show there. We'll see. But once I get back, it's basically Chai will be the main project that we roll out this year.
Yeah.
New album, and just a bunch of shows to follow up,
Yeah.
which will be really fun. And yeah, we'll just see where it takes us. I'm kind of treating this year like a surprise year. I'm not pre-planning anything and just get surprised by, whatever comes out.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. So to all our listeners and viewers, watch out for that album.
for sure. But Swapnil, thank you so much for being
Thank you,
here.
Swaps.
It was a
No worries.
pleasure to talk to you. And I think you've got that Zen energy. There's something which is so calming about you.
yeah.
And it just feels like you've reached that stage, that moksha stage where you're like,
Enlightenment.
I'm in that. I don't need all these things. I
Yeah.
just wanna you can be here. Just do the work.
Just do the
So-
work. Just work hard. Yeah.
It's I say that because I don't know the answer. Just do the work. Just do the work. Just do the work. But yeah, no, thank you for that.
Great. Thank you
yeah.
so much for being with us.
No worries.
Swaps. We've
Yeah.
loved chatting to you, and I'm sure our listeners have too.
And we hopefully shall get you back again once you're back, and then have another extended episode with you as well.
Easy.
100%. Great.
Thank you.
Cool.
guys.
Thank you so
so
much.
much.
Thank you for listening. Remember to check out A Cassette in My Walkman, a musical concert on 6th May, 6:30 p.m. at Dorothy Winston Center.